has a playground, thanks to the hard work and perseverance of many.
I'm Jessica Annisberger. Join me for the next half hour as we document a community at work, kids at play.
Loysburg, Pennsylvania. A place that's just down the road a piece from Roaring Spring and just over the mountain from Bedford. Nestled in the cove, Loysburg's a scenic community. And just over a year ago, a new school opened up. A posh new school, minus one thing, a playground. A boy by the name of Gabriel Pepple got to thinking, maybe they could just build a playground, just like one he saw in a magazine. So in came the designers from that faraway place, New York, to get the students' ideas for this magical world.
So what do you want with anything in the world on your playground? What do you want? A maze. And you think you'd get lost in a maze?
And before you know it, Gabriel's dream became the dream of many children. But they realized they needed money. So they saved their pennies, danced their hearts out, dumped their principal. And you know what? They raised enough money to build that playground. But who would they get to build it? That's the next chapter.
Tack it. Don't drive your nails home, all right, till the whole thing is laid out.
Oh, we already made 3 of them.
This is like the sun is setting. Okay, we put all the lumber down like that because when it gets nailed down, we have the cup of the lumber down so it doesn't pull itself out of the wood.
Robert Cooper and Jillian Schwartz, the construction consultants from the architectural firm. And for the 5 building days, they were the rulers of this kingdom, a kingdom called Panther Paradise.
Because we don't know what's happening. Of course, Coop and Jill are telling us what to do, and we just sort of have to be followers and just whatever they say, we jump because they know what they're doing and we don't.
They have lots of experience, and they're able to come in and work with people they've never worked with before and get it done.
The strange thing is they don't know anything about me and I don't know anything about them. So it's a mystery on both ends.
It may be a mystery, but one thing remains clear, that Jillian and Coop are the leaders.
He's building this right here now.
So basically,
he says put something here, we got it there.
We're supposed to be putting these steps in, or this floor in. Yeah.
We don't know what it is.
Well, I don't know what it is. We just came up here and he said to start with this. Yeah. And Coop said to measure these 4 inches and put them down, and that's what we're doing. People are kind of disoriented, a little skeptical in the beginning. They doubt that it's going to really happen, and they're kind of just waiting to kind of see what's going to happen.
But it is happening. The project's underway, a dream becoming reality. And this dream must become a reality in 5 days, from groundbreaking to finishing touches.
I'm surprised 5 days the amount of work you get done, but it does get done with the right supervision.
that's all going to be over there in that trailer, all right? So get all that stuff over there, bring it over there, and they'll sit you up.
You can't be a leader without followers. Who were the diehards, the faithful followers? Stick around, the story continues.
I've been telling people today, if you remember your number, it's going to be pulled out tonight, you earn a day off tomorrow.
Sanding. Sawing. Lugging. They were there. They built this playground. They are volunteers. They come from all walks of life, and their reasons for being here are just as varied.
All right. Either they're supporting the children or the community or both, because the children are our community of tomorrow. So, yeah, they're all coming. They're coming for whatever reason they have. They're here.
Hi, this is a family affair. I'm here with my wife, my daughter, and my father-in-law, and a friend of mine.
So everybody turned out.
Yes, we're having a good time.
This is my wife, Kimberly, and this is my father-in-law, Harold Self. They live right across the street here, and Kim and I met in Slippery Rock and got married, and we live in Petersburg, Virginia, and we came up from Petersburg to build the playground. We're like professional volunteers.
The first few days of building, a majority of the volunteers were women. Women who in the beginning were labeled unskilled labor. But by the end, a few were thinking of carpentry as a profession.
My husband does a lot of this. He uses just about every one of these tools, and I've always wanted to learn how to use them, but had to come here to learn.
I'm really amazed at what I can do. I learned to run a drill and a screw gun. Never did that before.
Well, for one thing, I think a lot of women appreciate being out here and having someone say, you could do it, instead of, well, let me handle that, honey.
One of the really funny things to me is a mother is now saying she wants a router for Christmas.
It's something new, something different. It can get you out of the house.
Housework pales in comparison to the manual labor needed on this construction site. There were holes to dig, by machine, and then by hand. Holes to drill, and wood to cut, sand, and waterproof. From above, the site looked like an ant farm, each worker with a job to do.
We're supposed to fill in between the platforms there with stone. So when workers go in there, it won't be quite somebody for them.
Okay, somewhere down there where that guy with the orange hat is, because that's where we keep taking them. They just tell us to put them together and take them down here to this guy, and he'll use them.
It seems like I go from one job to another. This is like my 10th job for the day. I just help out wherever I'm needed.
It's difficult to visualize what this will look like. Right now, it just looks like a pile of lumber nailed together.
I have no idea what playground's going to look like.
After months and months of planning, is it hard to see what that's going to look like?
Yeah, I think it is. You get a concept, you get an idea of the ground over there and the area it's going to take, but until you see all this in the right places, I don't think you have a concept of what's going on.
It's fun. You can see things right with the supervisor. Other people say, I don't know where we're headed, but they help along, and they'll put the nails in where you tell them. Some things are very repetitious. You explain to them, they just go along and do that, and then they'll sit back and say, oh yeah, now I see what we're doing.
Over here, this framework is going to hold a bucking bronco. It'll be suspended on chains from here and here, in the other two corners. The bronco will sit right here and should look somewhat like a horse when we get it finished. We haven't built it yet, but I'm sure it'll be lovely when it's done.
We're putting a telephone line in today, so the kids can kind of communicate with each other around the playground, which is really fun. Another child invented that. He wanted a telephone. And so we put pipe underground and they talk to each other.
This is going to be the pirate ship, which is going to have platforms set at different levels. We're just beginning to put up the supports for the platforms, and he's cutting them off right there to the correct heights.
This is the bumpy slide. This is very exciting. This is very exciting. This is the bumpy slide. And these guys are building it here. And it's going to get stainless steel over the top, and it gets a whoop in it. So you go down and you go whoop. That's a bumpy slide.
Teamwork and cooperation. That's the key. No one person could raise this playground.
I've never been involved in an endeavor where more people from more walks of life cooperated as well together.
But everybody is important, skilled or unskilled, you know, and that's a really great thing about it.
There's a lot of people who really stuck it out, and if they were getting paid to do this, they would have went home.
Although it is hard work, but I'll say it this way, if you had to do it for a living, it would be hard. But since we're doing it for what we're doing it for, and with all the friends and neighbors and so on, it's fun.
Fun. There had to be more of an incentive than that. What kept people coming back, day after day, night after night? Many people put in grueling 12-hour days. What was the reward?
I went home and I was tired and I took a bath. And my two children rubbed me with Bengay, and I went in to get my nightgown, and there was a card in there with balloons, and it said, thanks for working so hard on the playground every day, and that she loved me. And it made it all worthwhile.
And when we close up at 9 or 10 o'clock at night, you know, and people who've been working here 13 hours, I'll say, okay, let's wrap it up, and they'll just be pleading. Oh, no, I got to get this board up, you know, and when finally I say, you can't, they say, I'll be back, don't let anybody touch us, I'll be back in the morning, what time you start?
They're doing it for the kids. This is a labor of love, you know. You're going to do things here that you wouldn't do otherwise.
That looks pretty good.
There was a sense of camaraderie and support. Support that grew from continual positive feedback and recognition for jobs well done.
I think you guys are tying this all together, right? Yeah. And then the other croquet, beautiful, beautiful. How's it laying out?
Good. We got it to one side.
Oh, really? It's nice and level? Oh, excellent. So excellent, woman.
George is running our chop saw. and he just built a moving floor, which is a handicapped accessible piece where the wheelchairs can move in and they swing on the platform. So that's kind of nice. As the days wore on, the work continued. The playground slowly began to take shape, but the workers lost track of time.
Today is Friday, and lunchtime was halfway, so that means we have half of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday left.
Not only were the workers losing their sense of time, but they were also becoming addicted.
If I get someone here for 3 hours, I can almost guarantee that person, man or woman, will be back just about every day. Any spare time they have, they'll be back here working.
Adults weren't the only ones slaving away while dreaming of paradise. More about that when we come back. For 5 days, a community joined together to build a playground. Panther Paradise, they call it.
This is the start of the swinging platform. My favorite thing on the playground. I play on them too, you know.
Adults weren't the only ones working. The kids were there to smooth out the rough edges.
Come on, it's going to be smooth. Hey, you aren't going with the grain. Like this. With the grain.
Children's minds are quite a lot different from adults' minds. A child, when they're sanding a board, not only do they think they're really doing something, they are doing something. You know, where a lot of parents think, oh, that's just busy work. Well, it's not busy work. I mean, you know, the more boards that are sanded by hand, the smoother it's going to be.
Carly, how important do you think this job is that you're doing?
Really important.
Why?
Because if you didn't sand the boards, you wouldn't have any wood for it to build the playground.
Misty, why do you have to sand these?
To make them smooth and so people don't get splinters in them when they play on them. It's got to be smooth to pound it into the wall to help keep it in so you can walk on it so you don't fall down in.
Sanding wasn't the only project that kept these hands busy.
So I want you to show them what we're doing with these screws.
Well, we're soaping some screws here so that screws would go in the wood better.
You don't like soaping the screws?
Nah.
Why not?
Because it gets all sticky, your hands, and your shoes get all slippery and stuff. You slip and slide all over the place. You could easily fall down this gym.
Not every task was well liked, but every task needed to get done. Some of the younger kids weren't able to help.
You want to put these together? Put these together?
That's good. There you go. While their parents worked, kids from ages 2.5 to 10 stayed here in childcare.
And with a handful of women handling anywhere from 70 to 100 kids, needless to say, it could get pretty hectic. The challenge? Keeping the kids busy and entertained. And all the while, the kids continued to think about their Panther Paradise and how they'd celebrate its completion.
Christina and AJ are making a thing to go around the whole playground.
And just as the adults had a tough time picturing the playground, so too did the kids.
Have you seen the playground yet?
Yeah.
What does it look like to you?
Only boards and poles sticking out of the ground. It'll have a dinosaur on it and ships and a rocket and a mirror maze. It's gonna be neat.
And while they played, each of these kids knew where their parents were.
My mom's out helping at the playground. She worked on the playground till 8 o'clock.
Is that a long time?
Yes.
I don't think they probably have any idea how tough it is up there in the mud. They're in here and it's nice and warm, and Mom and Dad's up there in the cold.
The big story of the week, no doubt the weather. With the temperatures in the 30s and the wind howling, not to mention the soggy conditions.
The weather has definitely been a downer, but the snow flurries and rain didn't dampen people's spirits.
This inclement weather kind of keeps the spirit really alive, and people realize it still has to get done despite the weather. And they kind of hang in there, and they plug along in a different way because they know, you know, if they don't stay here, it's just not going to get done.
Well, we've got mud and water up to our waist.
That's the bog. We don't want to go through there.
Poor people yesterday, a lot of them wasn't expecting the mud, and they didn't have boots on.
Yesterday, I got all these little kids together here, and I taught them that they should just say no to mud.
Weather may have driven a few volunteers away, but a few unexpectedly turned out.
We had some people show up that got rained out at their regular work job that came here to work because they had nothing to do for the whole day.
After 3 days of gloomy, overcast skies, the sun's golden rays tried to break free. That was noon on Friday.
I see the sun broke out about a little bit.
We all cheered. It was great to see it. There were little patches of blue around.
The sun seemed to warm spirits, but the workers needed more than sunshine to keep going. They needed energy, fuel for their labor.
The soup, we want to put the soup in these hot units. Games begin now, so I got to go out and get Natalie.
How do we go about lunch now? We've got like 20 to 12. What do we do here?
As soon as you're ready for lunch, fine, we'll break
So,
it.
and I gotta
should be around 12, but if it's ready and it's hot and it's a little early, fine.
Okay, should I just
Cool.
go and double check with them
Exactly.
then?
Then tell me, then get back to me and say, you know, when they're going to be ready at 12 or they're going to be late.
That the parents with children